What's up, guys? You know, we're your hosts, James Holman,
your host, Amari Taylor,
and welcome to the
French
Revolution Podcast.
So, it's the same thing as usual, talking about the French Revolution and some key events that were very pivotal points at that time. So today, we're going to be talking about some key events that happened during the French Revolution. So how about we start with the meeting of the Estates General. The meeting of the Estates General was in 1789 and was a very pivotal assembly of France's three estates: the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners, called by King Louis XVI to address a severe financial crisis. The meeting, which had not occurred since 1614, became a flashpoint for the French Revolution when the Third Estate, representing the common people, demanded voting head instead of estates, which would have given them more power. The Third Estate subsequently declared of itself as a National Assembly, marked the end of the Third Estate General and a fundamental shift in power.
Part of the French, another important part of the French Revolution was known as the Tennis Court Oath, was a pivotal event during the opening stages of the French Revolution, taking place on June 20th, 1789, by 1789, the Third Estate, otherwise known as the Commoners, being out of their usual meeting hall at Versailles, by indoor tennis court, the Salles du Pomme. They took an oath. They swore not to disband until they had a new written constitution for France. The king ordered the clergy and nobility to meet with the Third Estate.
And we also have the storming of Bastille. The storming of Bastille occurred on July 14th, 1789, when a revolutionary mob in Paris attacked the Bastille prison, a symbol of royal authority. After a violent confrontation, the insurgents seized the fortress, freed the prisoners, and obtained gunpowder and arms, making it a pivotal moment that sparked the French Revolution. The event's anniversary is now France's national holiday, Bastille Day.
We also have the March on Versailles. The March on Versailles was an important event that occurred during the French Revolution. Thousands of women marched from Paris to the Palace of Versailles on October 5th through 6th, 1789, to demand bread and protest about food shortages. They successfully forced King Louis XVI and the royal family to move from Versailles back to Paris. The marchers, armed with makeshift weapons, stormed the palace, but the royal family was eventually convinced to return to Paris under the escort of the marchers and the National Guard. The royal family left for Paris on October 6, 1789.
And next, we have the Reign of Terror. The Reign of Terror was a violent period during the French Revolution during September 5th, 1793 through July 27th, 1794, which was characterized by mass executions of perceived enemies of the revolution, led by the Committee of Public Safety under the Maximilien de Robespierre. Fueled by fear, political paranoia, and threats of foreign invasion, the government used extreme measurements, including the guillotine. You're right. Including the guillotine, to enforce voluntary ideals and suppress dissent, results in tens of thousands of deaths. This period ended with Robespierre's own execution.
Let's continue with the rise of Napoleon. Let's continue with the rise of Napoleon. Napoleon's rise to power was a direct consequence of the French Revolution. When the French Revolution occurred, the old system of aristocratic promotion collapsed, allowing officers like Napoleon to advance far in the ranks in a short amount of time. In 1793, during the siege of Toulon, a port city that rebelled against the revolutionary government and allowed British forces to seize control, a young Napoleon devised plans for positioning cannons that would reclaim the harbor and drive out the British fleet. The strategy worked and the victory garnered national attention. In 1795, royalists revolted in Paris, and the government called Napoleon, and he responds with cannons fire and crushes the uprising in mere hours. He became the savior of the Republic and gained command of the Italian army. In 1799, the French government was weak and the hate for them was at an all-time high. Napoleon executes a coup and destroys the government, becoming the first consul. From 1800 to
1804.
No, I'm just confused on how I'm supposed to say that. Whatever, from the beginning of the 1800s to 1804, no, that's not right either. From, what's it?
1800 to 1804. He rebuilt France.
From 1800 to 1804, he rebuilt France, building central banks and schools. He also formed the Napoleonic Code, which introduced legal equality, abolished hereditary privilege, and protected property. In 1804, Napoleon finally crowned himself Emperor of the French.
And that, today, guys, would be the end of the French Revolution
Podcast.
We have entered flow state, and this has been a great time. See you next time, guys.